Hey guys, Effie here. Today I'm going to make two cards. I'm going to make the one on the top and the right, and I'm going to use a combination of some of our stamps, but the main stamp set that we're focusing on today is our new Abstract Peonies stamp set, which is a gorgeous and easy to layer floral 6x8 stamp set. But before we go ahead with that set, I'm going to go ahead and stamp our new Peony Fields background stamp onto some regular cardstock with our rose quartz dye ink. This is going to serve as the background which we're going to ground our abstract peonies on. Since I'm going to double stamp this image, I made sure to temporarily adhere my card panel onto the base of my MISTI, and then I just inked up my stamp, closed the door of the MISTI, and then I repeated the process one more time so that I get a nice crisp impression. A few weeks ago, I stamped and cut out a bunch of our abstract peonies, so I'm just showing you a clip from that previous video because it saves me some time and this gives me more time to create new content for you guys. So I previously stamped these florals using a combination of our Ruby, Coral, Amethyst, and Citrine collection dye inks. Now these are beautiful layering inks that really showcase our layering sets well. Next, I'll stamp 4 butterflies from our Beautiful Butterflies 1 stamp set. This set features monarch butterflies in many different sizes, and it's a really great basic stamp to have in your stash because if you love florals, you can never go wrong with adding butterflies. So I'm going to stamp these butterflies twice onto my panel using my MISTI because like foliage and leaves, I usually need more than I stamp. So I usually stamp more and then I'll put the excess aside for a future project. Next, I cut out all the butterflies with my brother's Scan and Cut, and then I trimmed my Peony Field stamped panel. Then I created an A2 side folding card base, which I just temporarily adhered shut before I began assembling my floral arrangements. This makes it easier for me to work since the card base will now lay flat. Next, I took a trio of peonies from my peony pile, and before I start arranging any floral arrangements, I put one foam square in the center of each floral, and then I popped them up onto the left side of my base. But I made sure that they weren't all facing the same direction because if you want a little bit more interest, you want your florals to look more natural by facing them in different directions. You can see that the top peony is facing kind of to the right side, and then the next peony is facing to the left, and then the last peony is also facing to the top right, but that is okay because it's kind of going back and forth and it makes it look a little bit more natural than if all the peonies were facing the same way. Next, I colored in my butterflies. I started with a base color of peach pink, and then I went over that peach pink with my yellow zig marker, which gave that pink more of a coral tone. Next, I started tucking and nestling my butterflies and the leaves and foliage clusters around my peonies. If you're ever unsure of how many butterflies or leaves you should add, always go for odd numbers because it's more pleasing to the eye. And here I'm using a total of 5 butterflies, and you can see that they balance each other very nicely. Next, I stamped this congratulations sentiment, which is from our Rose Wonderland set, and I've been loving the modern basicness of the font of these sentiments, so I've been using them in a lot of my projects. Next, I created a striped patterned accent that's going to go behind that congratulations sentiment. It's going to give that sentiment a little bit more interest against that beautiful peony background. We have many beautiful background cling stamps in our collection, but I chose our Minor Stripe stamp. So I double stamped this onto white cardstock, and then I trimmed off the excess portion of that congratulations sentiment. Then I adhered it onto the striped panel and then trimmed that so that we have a nice sentiment strip with this beautiful patterned accent. Then I popped up the sentiment, but I made sure to tuck the left side into my floral cluster. And lastly, I'm just going to add some of our glass slipper sequins around my clusters and my sentiment. I used some of our larger sequins, like the 8 and 10 millimeter sizes, and I tucked those behind the leaves and butterflies, and they give the card a nice shiny accent without being gaudy. So this card is now complete. Let's move on to the second card. For this next project, I'll be using that striped background panel that we created in the first portion of this video. Literally, this second portion of the video, I am just assembling my card because the peonies and that striped background were already made, and I'm just going to adhere that striped panel onto a piece of turquoise cardstock. And then I have a rectangular panel that was already created also. I just took some panels out of my stash and I decided these all went really well together. You don't always have to create something new for each new project. Go through your stash, go through your scraps, and see what you can use, see what goes together, and that's exactly what I did. And I was already in floral arranging mode, so this project came together very quickly. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because I update it on a weekly basis. Thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for stopping by. I will see you next time. Bye!